Welcome to another episode of Mythic Drafting, where today we're doing another Lord of the Rings draft. Interesting pack first up here. We have Aragon Company Leader, which is a green-white rare. When the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Aragon as your ring bearer, put your choice of counter from among First Strike, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink on Aragon. And then when you put one of those counters on Aragon, put one of each of those kinds of counters on up to one other target creature. So, two really good abilities there. 3/3 for 3 as well is solid. Legends also matter, but 2-color card are not what we're particularly looking for our first pick. And we do have a Voracious Fellbeast here. 6 mana for a 4/4 flying. With when it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacks a creature and you create a food token. So this card does it all. It's probably one of the better uncommons. We're going to pick it up. I also quite like Gothmog. Meriadoc Brandybuck is solid as well. Nasty End is a card that's going up in my estimation also, and I do like Lorien Revealed, but we're going to take Voracious Fellbeast there and wait for our next pack, and we're pretty well rewarded here with this is a really nice pack, but Nazgul here. Nazgul is another one of the better black uncommons, and we're pretty happy to pick it up after taking a Voracious Fellbeast. This is a 1/2 Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, put a +1/+1 counter on each Wraith you control. And a deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul. So it's a 2/3 Death Touch that makes the ring tempt you. Super solid, lovely pickup. We also get to cut black quite well. Fury of Orcs is also fantastic. It's just a mass Orcs 2 when you do. Deals X damage to target creature an opponent controls, where X the army's power. So a bit of a Flame Tongue Kavu vibe there. Then we've got to Smite the Deathless as well, but we're going to be taking Nazgul out of this pack. There's also Black Breath, not particularly good, but a good sideboard card for sure if you're playing best of 3. Ring Sight's an interesting one, not particularly keen on it though over Nazgul. And now we can follow it up. Oh, this is an interesting pick here. There's a Troll of Khazad-dûm and a Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant. Gothmog is very solid. 3/3 legendary with a 1/1 as well, and it gives all your creature tokens Death Touch. But 4 of Orcs is very strong. We have just passed a 4 of Orcs already, which I'm a little bit tempted to stick to black and just take the Gothmog, but 4A seems high power enough that it's potentially worth taking over Gothmog here. Although Gothmog is very solid, giving Death Touch to all your 1/1 Orcs. I think we're just meant to take... I think 4A is better enough that we're meant to just take it there. But we're definitely not committing to red with that pick. And that's just a... It's possible we're meant to just take Gothmog and stay black there. But we will see how it plays out. Now I've got to pick between... I don't really love Irith. I think it's fine. It's just a 1/4 that can untap 2 legendary creatures, which can be good on the defense, but... Isolation and Orthanc, Ithilien Kingfisher are both solid, but I think we're just going to stay black here and pick up our Haunt of the Dead Marshes. I think most black decks are going to want one of these. Just comes down in scries and also can recur if you've got legendary creatures, so happy to pick that one up there. Now there's a Fire Inscription, but this is more of a blue-red spells card than a black-red card. So we're not going to pick that one up there. There's an Arwen's Gift, Isolation Orthanc, Battle-Scarred Goblin as well. But I think we'll just go ahead and pick up Mirkwood Bats. If we're in black-red, we're going to be creating a lot of tokens and in terms of Orcs. And so happy to just pick up the 2/3 flyer there and stay black at this point. We're not seeing a ton of red. There's no black cards in here for us. There is a Harridan Spearmaster, but not really keen on that. The card I am looking at is just Stern Scolding here. 1 mana, counter target creature with power 2 or less, and it works really well. You can play a 3-drop on turn 4 and hold up Stern Scolding, counter that card. Like it can counter Mirkwood Bats, counters Nazgul, counters a lot of creatures in the set, and I think it's probably the best card still in this pack. So we'll go ahead and pick up the Scolding there. Now there's an Oliphant. There's a Knights of Dol Amroth if we want to stay move more into blue, but not particularly exciting. There's a Sirith Ungol Patrol. There's also a Lembas to scry one and draw a card, and then you can sack it to gain life. It's like a fancy little food. Don't mind Lembas if you're short on playables, but I think we just pick up Oliphant here. We're not really sure what our second color is going to be, but this potentially allows us to splash the 4A of Orcs and the Oliphant as well. And now this pack's more like it. 8th pick Dunlin Crebain is just not really correct, I don't think. Mortal Muster as well I'd be happy with. And I'd be happy with another Oliphant because you could just really lock up the ability to splash. But we're not passing Dunlin Crebain. And I'm sad that we're not, like, that these didn't come in a different order and we could have gone Dunlin Crebain into Mortal Muster. But it is what it is. And now we'll pick up a Nasty End here, which is going to incentivize us to get some ring tempting us. But for example, you can go Nasty End. Where'd Nasty End go? You can go Nasty, like make your 1/1 a Ring Bearer legendary, and then Nasty End sack it to draw 3. Pretty nice. Here, not particularly a fan of any of these cards. Don't really want to play them. I'll just pick up a Lembas. I don't think we're going to play it, but happy to just pick that one up there. And now Improvised Club, 11th pick. That's a little bit of a sign to me that Black-Red might be open. So it's still certainly open at this point, but it looks like red is the more open color. And Sauron the Necromancer is a fantastic one for us because, one, we don't have to make a decision about what our second color is. 2, it's just a fantastic bomb in the set. It's a 5-mana 4/4 menace. Whenever it attacks, you exile target creature from your graveyard. You create a tapped and attacking token. Let's copy that card. It's a 3/3 Black Wraith with menace, which goes well with Nazgul. And then at the beginning of the next step, you exile that token unless Sauron is your ring bearer. And so if you can make Sauron your ring bearer, it's just absolutely absurd. It basically recurs a creature every single time it attacks. And if not, it's still just nice upside. But yeah, I'm really happy we don't have to make a call. We can see what gets passed to us and make a decision going forward from there. And wow, so nothing really passed to us that's good in red, black, or blue. The best card for us in our colours is probably like Sam's Desperate Rescue over Mortal Trebuchet. Not particularly happy. I don't mind Mortal Trebuchet with Mirkwood Bats, but we don't have a ton of Orcs yet, and we're not guaranteed to be red. Old Man Willow is very strong. I think we're just going to take Old Man Willow and just accept that for the upside, and if we could get some generous Ents and some other splashable ways to splash, maybe that's the line we want to go down. But yeah, that's not an exciting second pick, but can't complain after having Sauron. Now I think we're probably going to pick up a Torment of Golem here. Might wheel this Shire Scarecrow to enable a little crazier deck, but yeah, Torment of Golem's a really nice one. Saruman the White is very good in blue-black, but we're not guaranteed to be there yet, so don't want to pick that one up when there's a super solid black card for us. And we'll just stay where we are for now. Nasty End's just so good with Haunt, Dunlin Crebain, it's good with Torment of Golem, it's good with Sauron as well, so looks like this one will be getting played for us. Don't know about Lembas at this point. Probably cut that out. Don't think we're really not tied to any of these. The best card is probably 4A of Orcs at this point. Just because it gives us the ability to... It's another removal spell and a body simultaneously. But now it's a pretty interesting pick here. We're seeing no red. Red common's already been taken, which indicates to me that red is being cut, which we kind of predicted with the 4A. But Rise of the Witch King is an interesting one here. Each player sacks a creature. If you sacrifice a creature this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So we have Haunt, Dunland, a lot of cheap little creatures that we're happy to sacrifice. And it could be that we're meant to just move into green-black here instead of any of these other colours. And now follow that up with a Quick Beam Upstart Ent. Whenever this enters the battlefield under your control or another tree folk, up to 2 target creatures get +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. So really solid. And there's nothing really else for us here. Probably done with the top side of the curve now, and we're going to be looking for more lower curve cards, such as Mortal Muster. Easterling Vanguard is solid as well. I don't know which one I prefer. I think this deck probably wants the Muster in order to hit land drops a little bit more effectively. So now I've got Shortcut to Mushrooms. Beginning enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, put +1/+1 counter. I don't know if this is the deck that really wants to be doing that. I think I'm just going to pick up an Oliphant here because it enables us to potentially splash the 4A of Orcs, and also Oliphant is really good with Rise of the Witch King to be able to sacrifice, to pitch it for a land and then go and get then you can put it back into play with Rise of the Witch King. So now there's Bath Song, Lorien Revealed for another potential splash enabler, but I think we'll just take Enraged Huon here as a 4/5 trample. And now it's a pick between Mushroom Watchdogs, but I think we just take Generous Ent here to enable our splashing. And again, we may play Shire Scarecrow just as an ability to stall the board and allow us to get to our powerful abilities, because we do have quite a few of them at this point. So now there's a Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, Eowyn, Fearless Knight, and then a Gorbag of Minas Morgul. So we could take Gorbag. There's also a Wizard's Rockets, which I'm somewhat considering, but I don't think that's where we want to be. I think we just want to take the 2/2 for 2 here, as unexciting as it is. Even if it's just, has minor upside with Mortal Muster, Dunlin Crebain, Torment of Golem. Also has some upside with Sauron, but I think we just need this for our curve. Sad to be passing some powerful cards, but hopefully some will get passed to us. Now another pretty unexciting pack for us here. Could take a third Oliphant, which will really allow us to cast 4 Orcs pretty consistently. But it's not really exciting. I don't really want a second Gorbag. I don't think Long List of Ents that this is the deck for it. I think it may just be the third Oliphant here, and we'll just play. We can probably get away with 15 land at this point. Now all the cards that we want come. There's a Woe's Pathfinder, which we'd really like. But there's a Claim the Precious and a Lash. There's also a Shire Terror, so I think we take Claim because it's just so good, and we really hope that Lash wheels. We only have one removal spell at this point in 4A. We do have Old Man Willow, but yeah, I think Claim is just, we've got to take the black card there. And now we get another one here. Really hoping that Woe's Pathfinder or the Shire wheels, but it's going to be pretty unlikely, I think. Picking up a lot of removal here. Black is very open in this pack. So a bit of Downfall, double Claim the Precious, and 4 out of Orcs. Gonna have a nice little Jund deck going on here. Grima Wormtongue's also another solid pickup. Could take our 4th Oliphant, but we're definitely not doing that. But yeah, Grima, a 1/4 defensive creature, can sack legendaries, which goes really well with Sauron if we're like exiling, we don't control an army. And wow, 7th pick, March from the Black Gate. This card is very, very solid. So really happy to pick that one up. Probably over the Mortal Muster. Although, how many ways do we have to make Orc tokens? 1, 2, 3. There are a few, plus Grima, and it makes one itself. Yeah, I think March from the Black Gate is fine. At its worst, it's just a 1/1 that then becomes a 2/2. But the upside is just pretty high, I think. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and pick that one up. We have a fair few legendary creatures. We could take Great Hall of the Citadel, but it is a little bit awkward. Probably would rather just have another Generous Ent here and cut one Oliphant. Now the Shadowfax Wheels, Wizards Rockets, I don't think we're playing. We're not splashing an improvised club there. Just go ahead and pick that up. Similarly, not playing any of these cards. Yes, I think we can probably get away with 15 land, given we're going to have 2 Ents, 2 Oliphants. And Lotharian Lookout may actually be the card we end up running as our 25th card here. Or another Nasty End. I think probably not 2 Nasty Ends in this. Inherited Envelope actually could be interesting given how high our curve is and the splashing that we're doing. I don't think it's particularly good. Got a lot of high-end cards though. I think maybe actually we cut Lotharian Lookout. We trim down to so that's 8, 15 land, but we've got we want to play more swamps given how many swamps we have. Probably just playing 1 mountain with the Inherited Envelope, the Oliphant. We want as many swamps as we can get, given, you know, we've got 17, 3, and 6. So 10 swamps. This is 11 black sources. It's 3, 4 red sources, and then 6, 7 black sources. Green sources, sorry. I think there's an argument for 1 more mountain to enable us to consistently cast the Oliphants. I think that's probably right to run something like this. We still have 7 green sources. We only have 1 double green. Yeah, I think let's give something like this a go, and I'll see you for game number 1. Alrighty, here we are for game number 1. This hand is definitely a keeper. I'm going to go ahead and cycle this Oliphant first up. It's much more likely that we'll cast Generous Ent than the font, and we're going to need the 3rd land for sure. So we'll do it on our end step here, but going to swap this out, give us our banner, and then we can go into casting Nazgul on turn 3 into Grima Wormtongue. Or we can actually probably play Grima first. Because then if we play Grima, we can sack the Nazgul if they go ahead and try and remove it. It's interesting. It's much better to have... Yeah, I think that's actually probably what we want to do here. We want to play Grima first. And then play Old Man Willow. Although now, given we've drawn Old Man Willow... No, I think, given that they're blue, if they have Glorious Gale, I'd rather they counter Grima Wormtongue than Nazgul. So let's go ahead and get that one out. Nazgul's just so good because if it's your Ring Bearer, it's a 2/3 Death Touch. So they need to have a Death Toucher to be able to deal with this. Or a removal spell, because if you make it your Ring Bearer, then only 2 power creatures can block it, and then it always has 1 more toughness than the power, so it always, and then it will always kill that creature because it has Death Touch. So unless they can double block it or something like that, then you're guaranteeing yourself a 2-for-1. So Nazgul is just fantastic, super efficient card, does a lot of things that you want. And now I've got we've got the option of playing Nazgul or Old Man Willow. I think we just want to run out the Willow here. Forces them to deal with it. If they can't deal with it, we draw something that we can sacrifice. Then we just get to pick off Elrond, Lord of Rivendell. And also, it's just huge. Like, Old Man Willow is going to be a 5/5 next turn. And the turn we cast Fellbeast as well, We're going to get to sack the food token to take something down. If we don't draw land as well, there will be consideration to actually just Nazguling and then end step cycling the generous Ent so that we can guarantee cast the Fell Beast. So now they tap it. This creature would be untapped during an untap step. Instead, remove a +1/+1 counter from it. So we don't have many ways of making +1/+1 counters. So let's just go ahead and sack Old Man Willow here to get a 2/2. Oh, and now we do have the option of just Foray of Orcsing and taking down the Lord of Rivendell here. That does seem pretty good, especially because it's going to enable whatever we kill, whatever they play, to be killed by Voracious Fellbeast. It also just starts putting a lot of pressure on them. So we could have played Nazgul and then attacked with the 2/2. They might trade, but now we've really put the pressure on, and we can follow it up if we wanted to with a Fellbeast. But now we're going to follow it up with something even better with the Generous of Ents. So go ahead and attack first. See what they've got. But I think it's likely we'll just be playing the Generous Ent on end step. Could have like Isolation or Orthanc here to bounce at 4/4. But they do not. They could have like one ring to rule them all, but they're just still dead. Takes one turn too slow. So I'm going to have to just run out Generous Ant here and try and close this game out. Soothing of Smeagol back to our hand. I mean, wow. They should have... Oh, non-token creature. Right. Still pretty close to dead. Here, we can just... I think now as well, we actually just want to cast multiple bodies. Should have cast Dunlin Crebain pre-combat, actually. That's my bad. So Glorious Gale, the Nazgul. Draw that one out. Missed 2 points of damage there. Don't think it's going to matter, but you never know. Saruman of Many Colours. Wow, okay. So, Ward, you discard an enchantment whenever you cast your second spell, but Sauron's going to fall way of the Voracious Fellbeast here because they have to sacrifice it. Ward doesn't do anything for that. Awesome first game victory, and I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, back for game number 2. We've got an absolute banger of a hand here. Haunt of the Dead Marsh, March from the Black Gate, Nazgul into Old Man Willow. So this is probably as good as that curve gets, really. The ability to sack Haunt to Old Man Willow and then just recur Haunt over and over again is pretty disgusting. And then March from the Black Gate's going to be a bit of a problem as well. And then Nazgul itself is a very powerful card. So gets a little bit better as well there with Haunt, with Nasty End. Ability to sack at creatures, especially things like Haunt. It's going to be good. And now, Rise of the Witch King is interesting. I think we do want to draw this. Given we have Nasty End, like we can hit our 4th land. And with the weaker little bodies that we're going to have, Rise is potentially going to be quite effective on this board. So let's go ahead and offer the trade here. Probably not going to take... Oh, they are going to take it. That's great for us because we get to amass now, and I didn't want them to be able to take this army down. So this is going to be a 2/2 next turn. Unless they can make their army bigger. March. We're going to start marching. Oh, they can end it. So now this is the down. Like this is... We have to trigger this again to get it going. But the upside of March is... like it's still a 1-for-1, and then we just get all of the upside. So now we can cast Nazgul. I think they've probably got Glorious Gale in hand. They do. It is a shame, but I don't think we can just pass the turn and do nothing there. And we can always get it back with Rise of the Witch King. So they're Mortal Mustering. We're really hoping to draw a land at this point. We do rip the land. So now I can just cast Old Man Willow. And now we can just recur Haunt of the Dead Marshes to scry and start chipping things down. So we're going to be able to take down their army unless they can deal with a good old friend, Old Man Willow. They get to put it back on top. We draw land. So we could just sack here, but I think we're just happy to just end the turn. We're not under a ton of pressure. Old Man Willow's going to come down next turn. There's a 5-5. They play something massive, we can just claim it this turn and then hope we draw a land. So the ring tempts them. They get to search their library for a card that shares a color and reveal it. So they get a black card here. They get Claim the Precious. Okay, so we don't want to cast Old Man Willow this turn. So what we're going to do, we could just claim there. If we don't play anything, they're gonna do this and start looting, and that is actually a bit of a problem. So I think we just want to actually claim here. Stop them from doing that, and then wait till we draw a land to be able to cast Old Man Willow and Nasty End on the same turn to draw 3. We can just go ahead and keep shipping the turn here. Bit of Downfall's a nice one as well in case they draw something. As is Foray of Orcs. I think, yeah, this is a bit of a control match, and we just want to keep waiting for our 6th land drop here. We don't need to cast anything. Now we can cast Old Man Willow. They're going to claim the Precious Set, but we're going to get to Nasty End in response. So they've probably got another removal spell in hand now. Isolation of Orthanc. I'm happy to just... The question is, do we sack this in response? I'm happy to just force them to use that Claim the Precious on it. And just keep holding here. We could Foray of Orcs now. But again, I think this is really going to come down to who can get the most value out of their cards in this matchup. So now I would happily Foray of Orcs that. Not too concerned by it right now, but go ahead and cast Old Man Willow. I can Glorious Gale it. So now I've got nothing, and they've got the Bree. We'll get to Foray of Orcs that this turn. They do get to loot once. It's potential we've played a little bit too controlling here, but given the quality in our hand, I think it's fine. So let's go ahead and Foray of Orcs it up. I get to take down Bill Ferry, Bree Swindler. And then we just say go. We've still got Nasty End. Still got Rise of the Witch King to get back Old Man Willow. Now opponent is playing the same game we are. We can just keep on amassing with March from the Black Gate now. This will very quickly become a huge threat. And I'm happy to hold Voracious Fellbeast until they play a creature for us to kill with it. And if they claim the Precious the army here, we'll just sacrifice it. But they're not going to, so they're holding the Precious. We're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and putting more and more pressure on them. And now we get to play Mirkwood Bats. Stern Scolding from opponent. It's a little bit of a control value mirror here, which is not always something you see in draft, but playing well so far, I think. They've potentially got some lands in hand, 5 cards in hand, but Nasty End's going to be a nice one, and they have to deal with that threat right now. I think they probably need to take this down this turn. Now we just get to Nasty End it in response. Draw 2. And double Generous End there is very, very nice. So now I can play Fellbeast if they play a creature, but these Ents are going to do absolute work on opponent. So Treason of Isengard to get it back. Our turn, Grima Wormtongue. So could play Grima and get something back, but I think could play Grima and get back Haunt of the Dead Marshes here. I think we just want to get the value though out of Fellbeasting there. 2/2 here. And getting the 2-for-1. Like they're going to have to use Claim. And then we get to cycle this for life. They're going to have to claim this turn. And we can Grima next turn if we want to. And then set up the ability to rise from the Witch King as well. So let's sack our food. So now we can, I think, yeah, we just want a generous, we want a Grima first, actually. Yeah, they don't have a removal spell, a counter spell, so we can just cast Generous Ent safely here. Oh, went through very quickly. Maybe they do have something here. No, they must have removal, so they might have their own bit of downfall. Don't seem to have it. No, they do. Okay. I think they probably should have done that last turn. Now we can Haunt first. See what we're going to bottom the land. And then we can just get in first for 1. And then we can just cast Generous Ents number 2. And this is the benefit of playing these landcyclers that are massive creatures is we've got 15 land, but we've got 4 of these. So, you know, if you just draw them early game, like we drew the Oliphant, you can cycle them. But then in this stage of the late game, they're just such huge threats. They're just going to, like, Generous Ent's just going to close this game out for us. So another Treason from Isengard. The Ring's going to tempt them. They're going to have to deal with their 4/4 here. So we've got 10 mana. We could actually just Rise of the Witch King here to get back a Generous Ent. I think we actually want to hold that for when we want to, to get back Voracious Fellbeast. Pretty happy to just hold there. Let's go ahead and cast the Oliphant. Now they have 2 creatures they need to deal with. We can sack all of our food. We can bit of downfall them. They're discarding a card. So I'm fine to take 2 here. We would have to sacrifice everything. So I don't particularly want to do that. We'll take 3 damage from the Ring. And now they're probably just going to bit of downfall. Dunland Crebain. Alright. So they amass. It's not going to work as well as they want. We can just bit of downfall the Dunland Crebain now. Their army's tapped. And that's the game. A bit of a grind there, but good to get the second win. And I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, back again for game number 3. Another keeper here. Only having swamps is a little bit awkward, but we've got the scry and we've got the combo with Haunt here. So go ahead and scry away the additional land. Grima being able to bring back Haunt every turn as well to drain, and scry is going to be pretty nice. So we'll pretty happily offer the trade here, given we already have the legend. And then claiming the Precious is a nice one as well. Let's go ahead and trade here and pass the turn. Precious is going to be great with, it's just one of the better cards that we can possibly have in our deck. And Grima Wormtongue is going to line up quite nicely against this Easterling Vanguard. And now we'll be in a situation where we can just scry every turn, hopefully, and get the value out of that. Although opponent, if opponent attacks here, there's also the potential we just don't was going to say we don't block. But now we're going to be pretty happy here to just... I think we can pretty... I think we just want to do this now. We don't have anything else that we're going to do. And then the question is, we don't really want this mountain. Because next turn, would ideally draw a forest. We could just... I think what we do is we leave the mountain on the bottom, and if we need to guarantee that we draw land next turn, we can just cycle the Oliphant to make sure we're hitting land so we can get up to Voracious Fellbeast. So now Dunlin Crebain is coming down. I'm going to amass 5, so we're going to need to take down the 5/5 here. They're going to hit us for 5. That's fine. No blocks from us. And then we can make the decision about the Oliphant in our next turn, because we're going to be claiming the Precious no matter what, I think here. So, yeah, okay. So now we're happy to have drawn that there. We're going to claim the Precious on that 5/5. And then we can sack the Haunt to amass 2 as well. So we'll choose that to be our ring bearer. Now we can ship the turn. We're going to be able to cycle Oliphant at the end on end step to guarantee us being able to cast Voracious Fellbeast. And now their Book of Mazabul was pretty nice, but you know, Dunlin Crebain and Book are just going to get some additional damage in, and Claim the Precious is effectively going to take out the main body of both of those cards. So we can actually double block here and then sack our Haunt in response and kill the Easterling Vanguard. They might go for the... So now we just target them, sack the Haunt. We get to amass 2, they lose a life. And we still get to take out the Easterling Vanguard unless they have something here. So getting a lot of value off of Grima Wormtongue here. And now Voracious Fellbeast is also going to take down either Dunlin Crebain or their army. So they've probably got a removal spell here, or maybe a deal 1. They could have like Fear 5 foes, Smite the Deathless. That's fine. We took out half the Easterling Vanguard and got some value off of Haunt the Dead Marshes. Now we'll cycle the Oliphant here to get ourselves a mountain and guarantee that we can cast the Voracious Fellbeast. So now we have a couple of options here. Could just cast Enraged Huon, but I think we want to just cast the Voracious Fellbeast here, get it down, take one of their creatures out. Probably going to sack the 1/1, and then we can march and Enraged Huon next turn and start putting the pressure back onto the opponent instead of being on to us. It's also going to make a legendary to allow us to have Haunt the Black Marshes, Haunt of the Dead Marshes here. An opponent's left with a 1/1. They've got 2 cards in hand to deal with this Fellbeast. They've got their own Fellbeast, so that's a good start for the opponent here. We're obviously going to sack our army here, and now Generous Ent, I think, is just going to be the play here. We can go ahead and just start by attacking. They're going to go ahead and trade, which works perfectly for us. Absolutely happy with that. And we can just slam down Generous Ent here, get another food, and start setting ourselves up. When we inevitably draw a land, we can marsh and Enraged Huon on the same turn. There and back again is going to be a really big... It's a bit of a clock for us, although we actually can deal with this flying haste creature pretty well. They're just going to get a mountain card, and Generous Ent's not going to be able to block. So, Torment of Golem, and I think we actually want to cast this turn. take out their last card. So at least see what it is so that we can play with more information. Getting rid of Oliphant there is massive. We can also just cast March from the Black Gate now. And now we'll turn the clock onto the opponent. They're going to have this dragon, but they get a mountain card. Next time they get the dragon, so we can leave Generous Ent back if we need to. I'm going to sack their food. Return their haunt here. We're probably going to leave Generous Ent back to block this dragon. Nasty End is a nice one as well. But I think we just want to play the Enraged Hoon and then have our Orc army be the ring bearer, because it's either going to be big enough to deal with the trade with the dragon, or it can't block it now. So now I've got the 6/6 dragon, but we have a perfectly good tree folk who can stop Smorg the dragon. So all I needed to do in the Hobbit was actually just take the Generous Ent with them, and they could have dealt with it pretty nicely, but no attacks from opponent here. Generous Ent number 2 is a very nice one. We'll just go ahead and get in with our Orc here. We can draw and discard again. So Quick Beam Upstart, that's going to be one we're going to keep. Pitch Nasty End. And now they can't block with Smorg. They can block with Haunt. So we're going to have to finish this one off with some trampling. And I think we just go ahead and put down the Generous Ent again. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to cast this yet, but eventually we will, and we can start activating Haunt. It's not worth pitching the Generous Ent here to get the land to cast this. We may as well just cast Generous Ent and then wait until we draw our second forest to cast this here. Opponent is scrying as well and getting some value off of that. They've got Eomir here as well, but we've got really good blocks. They are going to get to just keep cycling here. But now we can force them to sack. And we can cast Inherited Envelope. The ring tempts us once more. Now let's go ahead and get in with the army again. We amass 1. Pitching Mountain here. Saying go. And we'll do our Horn of the Dead Marshes on end step here. Although we could just sack 2 food. It might be somewhat better to actually just have the life. Wow, opponent has just ended the game there. But we'll take that. We're 3-0, and I'll see you on the next one. Alrighty, bit of an interesting hand here on the draw. We don't have any play until turn 4. We can cycle this, but we could just get absolutely beaten down. And Nasty End isn't going to be great in this hand either. So I think we actually mulligan that hand here and go for something a little bit more risky. And happy to keep this 6 here. We'll get rid of Quick Beam. It is a little bit awkward in that we might not have the lands, but we've got enough draw steps here to hit them. Hit them we do. So now I've got Gorbag into Grima and claim the Precious. And opponent has Rivendell, so they can scry 2 if they control a legendary creature. Love these legendary lands. They're powerful, but not absurdly powerful. So that's always a nice little balance. Now I actually can cast Inherited Envelope into Sauron, but we don't really have any... we don't have any benefit of doing that because we have no creatures in our graveyard. So we actually may as well just cast Grima Wormtongue here. We're not going to sacrifice Gorbag. We will cast Grima. They could have Glorious Gale here. No, they have Sauron's Ransom. So we can get them double Goldberry here. So we need a face down pile and a face up pile. So I think we probably want them... This is a really strong Sauron's Ransom here. I think we just need to split them like this and hope they take this pile instead of taking the Voracious Fellbeast pile. It's too risky to put like double Goldberry in one pile because they'll just take the other one. That gives them the 2 removal spells, which is not what we want. So they took the face down pile. See, I think the problem there was if we put Voracious Fellbeast in the face up pile, they would just take it with Goldberry. And so there wasn't really a ton we could do in that situation to guarantee they didn't get Voracious Fellbeast. But Goldberry is not amazing. I don't think. Okay, what is amazing is Claim the Precious. They get to gain control of our Wormtongue. It doesn't luckily have haste, so they can't do that. We are just going to claim the Precious there. Their ring bearer there. And they've already got 3 on their ring. So that is a little bit of a problem here. We don't want to sack it. I think we will end step cycle Generous Ent for a land because Sauron potentially can go ahead and get it back. And we can make it the ring bearer the next turn with that inherited envelope. And we just want to guarantee that we actually get Sauron down this turn. Unless they cast like... they leave 2 mana open for Glorious Gale and they're not playing Goldberry. I think we'll probably not do that. So Mirkwood Bats is fine. Pretty good on this board actually to shore up, but... we'll go ahead and cycle Generous Ent here. Picking up one of our last 2 forests. Nasty End. That's another nice one here, but we're going to slam down Sauron. Stern Scolding can't deal with this, so not too concerned. And we can give it the ring. Give Sauron the ring next turn. They can cast Voracious Fellbeast, but we'll just Gorebag it up. Sacrifice Gorebag to it, that is. Then they can trade, Voracious Fellbeast for Sauron. But if we get to go ring, cycle a card, trade Sauron for Voracious Fellbeast and get a Generous Ent out of the equation, I'm pretty happy with that exchange. That deck's really nice. Like, double Goldberry, which is fine card. Sauron's Ransom's very strong. Rangers of Ithilien is an amazing 4-drop rare. And then they've got Voracious Fellbeast as well, and that's all we've seen. They've also managed to snag themselves a Rivendell, which looks like it can consistently scry in their deck, given they've got a couple of legends, a lot of ways to cast, make the ring tempts you. Looks like a very strong version of Blue-Black, and now, wow, they have another Sauron's Ransom. So we can put them in 2 piles here. So we don't want them to get this Lash. I think the lands don't matter, so I think let's do them like this to tempt them into taking the land pile, so they don't get a way of doing that. Because Lash of the Balrog would have allowed them to sack it and kill Sauron this turn, which we need to get 1 hit in with in order to get the Generous Ent on the battlefield. So we want them to attack with the Mirkwood Bats this turn. They are somewhat... Right, so... I think I would have played the Uruk-hai Berserker to give them the option of not letting us attack with 2, because now what we can do is we can just sack Gorebag to Grima, get an army, make them lose a life. I think it's much better to play Uruk-hai Berserker there. But that's... I'm happy for opponents to do that. Now I can go ahead and have the ring tempt us. I'm going to hold the land. And none other than the Lord of Evil, Sauron himself, is going to wear the ring. Go get a Generous Ent here. An opponent's seen enough there. Yeah, I think they probably misplayed there. They could have had the blocker to kill Sauron on that turn, but not going to complain against a deck that strong with that win, and I'll see you in the next one. Alrighty, we are 4-0 here, and we're on the draw. This hand's going to be a keep as well. I mean, Nasty End, Claim, Nazgul, Sauron. If we ever draw an Oliphant or a Mountain, we get the 4A of Orcs. We're on the draw as well, so much prefer this hand on the draw actually, but there's the third land we need. Now we're set up pretty nicely here. Rohirrim Lancers, fine, but not putting us under much pressure. Gorbag is a great draw there to give us a 2-drop. Now we just really want to draw some lands. We can also sack Gorbag to Nasty End if we need to. Just got to go ahead and run out the Nazgul here. And we definitely want Nazgul to be our ring bearer. The fact that now it's a 2-3 Death Touch can't be blocked. They can't attack with Hadron here. So they give him 2-1. We can block it, but it gives them the ring, tempts them. So I don't really want to, not really incentivize there to block. Now we can have an interesting choice. We can claim the Precious and take down this Reach creature and start getting in. Or we can just take down the... No, I think actually what we want to do is pass the turn with Nasty End up, and we'll double block the Rohirrim Lancer here. And then sack Gorbag to draw 3 off Nasty End. Potentially a little bit risky. Oath of the Grey Host. That's fine for now. They are going to get a bunch of damage in here with the Mirkwood Bats. Now they're not attacking either, so a little bit awkward. We're still just going to Nasty End here. We can't do nothing, so let's draw 3. And then let's sack our food token as well. So now 4A of Orcs is an interesting one. Can just kill Rohirrim Lancer. But I think we're better off just playing Sauron here. And we'll get Gorbag back. And next turn we can claim and Grima Wormtongue. So I think there's... We're only going to miss one. We're only going to miss 1 point of damage. Take 1 less point of damage this turn. So I think we're actually better off there doing it that way. Now we can claim and Grima in the 1 turn. And Quick Beam, Upstart, Ent. It's going to do a fair bit of work, but we'll see what they've got here. So that's great for us. They're not adding to the board this turn. They are draining us for 1 there. Not adding significantly to the board, I should say. Quick Beam is also going to it's dealing 2 to our face. The ring tempts us now as well. So now they get to get in with a bunch, actually. So yeah, potentially shouldn't have attacked there. And maybe held off. We're taking 6 this turn. Yeah, so we're actually just dead to the Mirkwood Bats here. And then Rage, wow. Opponent has just absolutely gone off. That was an insane turn from them. Pretty busted draw. They managed to beat one of our better draws as well. So 4-1 though. Can't really complain. Let's see if we can close it out in the next one. Alrighty, on to game number 6. Another keeper here. This is a great little chain that we can pull off. And Rise of the Witch King is fantastic with it as well. So go ahead and start by scrying. We do want to get this in the bin at some point, but I think it's also more important to scry. Mirkwood Bats can go to the bottom. That last game, I think the mistake was on turn 4, we should have just killed something with Claim the Precious and not gone for that Nasty End play. I think it was a bit cute given the pressure we were under. And yeah, I think that was a little bit of a mistake there. Haunt of the Dead Marshes is a great little counter to Golem. As is Mordor Muster here. Drawing another land's fantastic there. We'll go ahead and just attack, given we can just trade our 1/1 here. And we've got the Tree Folk Rise of the Witch King combo as well. So you can pitch this, Rise, and then you get Generous End back. So we'll just snap block here, trade our army for that Golem. The ring tempts them, that's fine. And now we can play Nazgul, or we can play Grima. I think we just want to go ahead and get the old friend Nazgul down. I think we want to put it on Haunt so that we can eventually sacrifice it to Grima, potentially. Although actually maybe it was better on the Nazgul. I think it was probably better on Nazgul, given we're probably going to sack it to the Rise of the Witch King here. So island cycling from opponent, we're up against probably a true Grixis deck here because they've got a red common. So they're going to be playing triple colours, or they're splashing for blue. But weird to splash with blue with this because it needs double blue to cast. And that's why this is probably the worst cycler. Just because... worst cycler to splash. It's a great cycler to have in a blue deck, but yeah, not amazing in and of itself. So now I have a bit of downfall. A couple of interesting decisions here. We can play Inherited Envelope and actually move to the Nazgul, and that will also allow us to set up the Rise of the Witch King play, which I think I actually like. I think we want to be rising next turn. The ring tempts us. Let's put it on the Nazgul. We now have a 3/4 Death Toucher. Let's go ahead and get in with our friend here. Land is quite good. We do want the second forest. I think here. You just play the land. No, because we've got the Inherited Envelope. So I think we actually just want to do this so we can play land this turn. Pitch it that way. Play out our land and say go. Now we can chump. We don't want to chump with Haunt because we're going to Rise the Witch King and get a Generous End back. And if we have a land now this turn as well, we can... we'll be able to play Rise and sack the food in the same turn, which is great. So opponent now, Uruk-hai Berserker. Elrond is now it's going to be the ring bearer. Coming in for 6 here. Opponent's discarding a card. We've got no blocks. Take a little bit of damage here. Hopefully we draw a land this turn. Land's also fantastic because Claim the Precious is also good. Land is going to be great if we draw one next turn because we get to... land will allow us to cast 2 spells next turn. So we get to Rise the Witch King here. They sack that Berserker. Get a Generous End back. Create a food. I think... no, we can just keep attacking here. We want to make sure we draw a land. So Oliphant. I think we... just want to get rid of Grima here. We actually want to keep the Oliphant because we can just ship the turn here, and next turn we can always like claim the Precious and sack the food. But if we can cast Oliphant at some point, it's going to be fantastic. And we are going to get another cycle next turn with Nazgul as well. So play for the upside here. Undural Flame of the West. Wow. So this card is absolutely busted. So hard to beat this card. So they can give... We're going to have to trade Generous End here. Wow, so they're just popping off with Anduril here. Really tough for us to beat that one. Especially because like it just keeps churning out these tokens. And now they've made their that one legendary and the ring bearer. So I think we just need to trade here. We can't really take 7 damage. Now the question is, how do we... They can equip this twice as well. So let's see here. If we attack, I think our out... If we kill this, let's say we claim the precious on both, they just equip it here and attack us. And then they just keep making flyers. I think our hope here is that we actually draw a land for Oliphant. So we don't draw the land we needed, really. That is very unfortunate. Oh, but we can actually... We get to attack with Nazgul. So we're going to attack here. Old Man Willow. So just not drawing lands is so awkward here. Really needed to hit some lands. Maybe we should have pitched one of these removal spells to the land drop, but... I think Old Man Willow's the play. And then we have double claim the precious potentially. In order to... Yeah, I think we do this. We hit them now. And then we try and set up a way to kill them next turn. So we play Old Man Willow. We actually want to cycle this now to set up maximum size of the Willow boy. Because now we can claim... They're going to attack. We can potentially clear the way to do enough damage. They can't kill us this turn, I don't think. We could kill 3 creatures. If we draw land, we win. I think, yeah, if we draw land this turn, I think we win the game. Let's go ahead and claim the precious, the Spearmaster. Nazgul's going to be our ring bearer still. And then we want to just get in with both here. So that's absolutely brutal. I don't think there's a way for us to survive here. If we had have claimed the precious, it still would have been 1 point of damage short. Because it would have been a 5-6. Super nice from opponent. This is a really close one here, but they're going to get the ring to tempt them. We get to Nazgul in. Gorbag's not going to do it. Yeah, so they just block here. And then they take us down with the Undural. Undural single-handedly winning opponent this game. We'll let them close it out, but this card's just absurd. They got to attack us, make 2 1/1s. They all fly. They're great ring bearers, and then because if you can get one of them to the ring bearer, then the next time you do it, you can also attack with it. So, unbelievable mythic rare, this card. Probably the best card to open in the set. Not at all a shame to lose to it there, but we're now going to be 4-2. We're going to have to come back to try and close this one out and get the trophy. Alrighty, welcome back for game number 7 here. This hand's definitely a keep. We're going to cycle the Generous Ent turn 1. And then we've got Gorbag into Inherited Envelope, into Sauron and Ranged Huon. So they've got the Golem. We've got the Forests. So let's see. We're going to have a turn 4 Sauron here, which is very nice. Into a way of actually giving it the ring temps as well. Pretty happy to trade off Gorbag here for Golem. Even if it means they can keep that ring bearer. Just don't want to go under too much pressure here. And now we can play Inherited Envelope. Ring tempts us, but we're going to get Sauron down shortly. They're probably going to have a way of dealing with Sauron, but we will see. Dunlan Crebain is a super solid one from an opponent. Let's just wait and see. They can sack it to return Golem. Wow, they are just absolutely going off, putting it into their hand. We're going to slam Sauron here. There is an argument for tormenting of Golem to protect it, but I think we just need to try and make sure they don't have it. If they don't have it here, it's so good for us. Yeah, so they've got Land Roval here. They get to hit us. So we can't Bitter Downfall and Sauron here. But we can enrage Huon and set it up next turn, where we get to Bitter Downfall. Because we can make the ring tempt us and then attack with Sauron. But then we have to trade it for the 3-4 here. But maybe that's good enough. And then we can actually cast Bitter Downfall as well. So we'd trade Sauron and Bitter Downfall for that. 2 creatures. I think actually let's attack first. See if we can set up the 2-for-1 here. So we are going to set up the 2-for-1. Take that down. They lose 2. We take out their army. Bash them as well. And now we get to march from the Black Gate. And now next turn we're set up as well to get Gorbag down. They're still bashing in. So I've obviously got some stuff here. We don't have any blocks. Pretty nice little 2-for-1. The Amass is going to be really solid here as well. So File of Galadriel. If they would draw a card while they have no cards in hand, instead you draw 2. But now we can actually just enrange Huon here and give Sauron the ring. Bash with both. A whole bunch of triggers go off. Nazgul's fantastic here. We're going to pitch Torment of Golem. Just smashing in against the opponent now. We get to keep our 3-3. They're just still going in and attacking us, but wow, so File's actually pretty nice here. We'll just sack Gorbag here. We can Mortal Muster. I think we want a Nazgul actually. The ring tempts us. And then we can get in with Sauron. We want to order our triggers. Yeah, we're going to order our triggers so we could pitch Old Man Willow and get it back. And that would be a huge creature. But opponent's seen the writing on the wall. They've seen enough. The power of Sauron's too much. We're 5-2. Let's see if we can close this one out. Alrighty, on to the next one here. And this hand is pretty interesting. A 5-drop and 3 6-drops on the draw is just not really where we want to be. And I think we're going to happily take a mulligan here. And this is a much better hand. Well, it doesn't have the upside, you know, of if we perfectly draw out. It's great. It is good against draws like this where we can potentially actually deal with cards like Frodo here. The question will be, do we want to play Gorbag of Minas Morgul or Mortal Muster? And we'll probably just cast Mortal Muster, I think, this turn to get the cycling, to get the card draw going. And with Inherited Envelope, I think it's pretty likely we're going to be able to get up to the Generous Ent here. Opponent also, they've got Barad-dûr, but we're going to be able to, they're going to need 2 more turns to get to Frodo last ability here. We'll have time to stop it. And also, Grima Wormtongue is a fantastic blocker here. So next turn we can play Grima, and then the turn after we can play Envelope and Gorbag, and sort of set up to go from there. Frodo is a strong card, but it's not like the most busted of rares or anything like that. The fact that
it requires you to play white first and then triple black, means it's unlikely. I mean, you're pretty much going to turn 4 at the earliest, going to be able to get it to its last one. And here, opponent, they don't have double black, so they're still at least 2 turns away. And if they did have another swamp in hand, I think they would have played it there. So, Nimbled Hobbit here can tap down creatures we control, but still just going to go ahead here and play out Grima and say go. And then next time we can play the Envelope and Gorbag, and also we'll be able to have the Ring Tempt at 1/1 here, get in and attack and have it draw a card if we want to, or create a treasure. Lots of options here. Opponent looks like they've probably got a removal spell here, I think, or they're thinking about attacking with Nimble Hobbit. Don't love this Nimble Hobbit card unless you've got a ton of ways to make food. It's just a lot of mana to get the payoff, and the fact that it's a 1/3 means it dies pretty easily. So now we have to exile a card. I think we'll just exile a swamp here. Isildur's Fateful Strike is a super solid one there. So now we can play Inherited Envelope here into Gorbag. And I think it's worthwhile doing that. So the ring tempts us. We play Gorbag here. And then we can go ahead and get in. And now we can actually exchange this for a card, which I think we want to do in this situation. We'll draw a card. And now perfect. We've got the land we need to cast Generous Ent. We should hopefully stabilize us. Obviously they can pay 3 mana a turn, but when we get Dunlan Crabane down, we hopefully will be a little bit more stable. Rosie is a problem, because they can put it on Nimble Hobbit here. I think they should put it on Nimble Hobbit to enable them to attack this turn. Yeah. And now they're going to be able to sack it to tap down our Generous Ent. So we're under a fair bit of pressure here. This is a pretty solid curve out from the opponent. You know, Frodo into flip it into Nimble Hobbit, into Isildur's Fateful Strike, into Rosie is a nice one. We're still on 8 life, and we've got the food here, so hopefully we can stabilize somewhat. Just need to draw into some more big blockers here. We've got, Oliphant, got a couple of 2-for-1s as well in the deck that can potentially get us out of a spot of bother here, but some of the removal would be nice to hit. Now Swamp from opponent. So they're 1 Swamp off getting Frodo into his final form. They're gonna tap here to tap. No, they're gonna sack that, right. So they can tack down Generous Ent. No blocks from us. We can take the 4 damage, and Dunlan Crabane will set up being able to double block the Hobbit. And now they're going to be able to do that every turn. So ideally we draw oh wow, that's a sick combo here. Opponent's really going off here. This is an awesome, show of the combination of these cards' abilities. So now we can cast Dunlan Crabane or the Quick Beam Upstart Ent. So let's see, if they tap down the Ent and attack with everyone, they'll lose a creature to Quick Beam. So I think we want to play Quick Beam here. So now we just give to these two. So yeah, opponent can tap down Generous Ent or Quick Beam. We'll get to eat Butterbeer, and then we'd have to chump the Hobbit, I think, here, to go to 1, and then we'd sack the food, play Dunlan Crabane. But if they've got anything here, we are, I think, just dead. So Mirkwood Bats is actually, that's going to kill us if they swing out with everything. Because they tap down Generous Ent, we have to take a minimum of 3, and then they sack the token to deal us 1 as well. So that is going to do it. Good game to the opponent, but this is a sweet one. Our deck was super solid. Opponent definitely got off to a really nice start this game. We're not going to have enough here to stabilize. Maybe if we play the Crebain, we do, but I think we just lose a bunch of creatures anyway, and I think we sort of had to play for the fact that they had nothing there. So that's the final game for this draft. And we end the run, let's just see. I think we are 5-3 with this one. So pretty solid deck. Not the most powerful by any means, and certainly had a high top end. But there was a lot of upside to it. I think that game we just didn't see our early creatures or any of our removal, which would have been solid, especially the 2-for-1s. But yeah, absolutely love playing with Sauron. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And leave a comment below with any particular game or draft that you pick that you enjoyed and anything you might have done differently. Thanks for watching.